Is the justice system truly blind, or does it subtly perpetuate racial bias? This fundamental question unveils a complex web of historical injustices and structural inequalities. Understanding this relationship is not just an academic exercise. It's crucial for personal growth. We live in a world deeply impacted by racial disparities, and these disparities profoundly affect our daily lives. This isn't just about distant history. It impacts every interaction, every decision, and every outcome. This exploration goes beyond abstract concepts, offering tangible ways to navigate this reality and foster a more equitable society. Today, we dissect the intricate connection between the justice system and racial prejudice, uncovering the subtle yet pervasive ways bias manifests. You'll gain practical insights into how this systemic issue operates, from implicit biases to discriminatory practices. Discover the power of awareness and understanding. Learn how to recognize and combat your own biases, and develop a deeper empathy for those affected. By understanding the past, you gain the tools to shape a more just future. This exploration provides actionable strategies for promoting change, not just intellectually, but within your own life. The relationship between the justice system and racial bias is a fundamental aspect of our societal fabric. Historical injustices and ongoing systemic discrimination create a complex reality, impacting individuals and communities in profound ways. Consider the disproportionate arrests, convictions, and sentencing disparities often experienced by racial minorities. These aren't isolated incidents, they reflect deeply embedded biases. Understanding this connection is vital for personal growth and societal progress. We must move beyond surface-level awareness and confront the deeper roots of this problem. Recognizing implicit biases, unconscious prejudices influencing our perceptions and judgments, is a crucial first step. These biases, often invisible to us, can manifest in seemingly neutral interactions and decisions within the justice system. Examining historical context is paramount. Laws and practices shaped by past prejudices have created lasting inequities. From discriminatory housing policies to biased policing practices, we see a legacy of systemic oppression impacting the present day. This historical context informs our understanding of ongoing challenges. Furthermore, examining data on sentencing disparities and incarceration rates reveals clear patterns of racial bias. These stark statistics highlight the ongoing struggle for true equity and justice. Comprehending this evidence is essential for taking informed action. By engaging with these foundational elements, we gain a more comprehensive perspective on the interconnectedness of racial bias and the justice system. This understanding is critical for fostering personal growth and social change. Understanding the complex relationship between the justice system and racial bias is crucial for personal growth and societal progress. Subscribe now to deepen your understanding and join the discussion. Your feedback and comments are invaluable. Let's work together to build a more equitable future. Share this to spark conversations with others. A key goal is to cultivate awareness of implicit bias. Consider how your own personal experiences, shaped by societal norms, might influence your perceptions of individuals from different racial backgrounds. Reflect on interactions where you felt judgment, even if unintentional. Recognize that systemic racism isn't simply about individual prejudice. It's deeply ingrained in societal structures. Think about examples like disproportionate policing in certain communities. How do these structures affect outcomes? This understanding is crucial. Practical steps include actively seeking diverse perspectives. Engage with diverse viewpoints through books, podcasts, and conversations with people from different backgrounds. Challenge your assumptions and be open to new information. Furthermore, educate yourself about the historical context of racial inequality. Learn about landmark legal cases and the ongoing fight for racial justice. Historical context is crucial to understanding present-day challenges. Finally, commit to ongoing self-reflection. Regularly question your own biases and actively work to dismantle them. This journey requires consistent effort and a willingness to learn. Consider the case of a young black man stopped by police for questioning, simply for walking down the street. This seemingly mundane scenario highlights a pervasive problem: the potential for racial bias within the justice system to create profound consequences. This isn't just a theoretical concern. It's a daily reality for many. This pivotal moment underscores the urgent need for a shift in perspective. We must confront the uncomfortable truth of systemic inequities that disproportionately affect communities of color. This requires more than just acknowledging the problem. It necessitates actionable steps to dismantle systemic barriers. This isn't just a matter of individual prejudice. It's about the way laws, policies, and societal structures create a system that perpetrates inequality. Think about how these systems impact housing, education, and employment opportunities. The ripple effect of these seemingly isolated incidents is profound. It creates cycles of mistrust and perpetuates harmful stereotypes. This impacts individuals' self-worth, opportunities, and overall well-being. Understanding this cycle is essential for personal growth. Ultimately, this turning point demands action. By examining the root causes of racial bias within the justice system, we can begin to dismantle these harmful systems and work toward a more just society for all. Understanding implicit bias is crucial. This involves recognizing that unconscious biases, often rooted in stereotypes, can influence our judgments and actions. For instance, research shows that police officers may unconsciously react differently to individuals based on perceived race. Implicit bias training can help individuals identify and mitigate these unconscious biases. It's about actively challenging assumptions and developing a conscious awareness of how our perspectives are shaped. Consider the impact of historical racial disparities. Laws and policies shaped by past prejudices continue to create inequities. Examples include discriminatory housing policies and biased jury selection practices. These historical legacies affect present-day outcomes. Data reveals disparities in sentencing and incarceration rates across racial groups. Understanding these statistics provides crucial context to the impact of systemic issues. Statistical analysis frequently reveals disparities in outcomes. Examining these examples helps uncover how the justice system's procedures can inadvertently perpetuate bias. Understanding these processes is essential to building empathy and challenging discrimination. Recognizing that systemic issues extend beyond individual prejudice is vital. This involves acknowledging the role of historical context in shaping societal structures and laws. A practical application involves actively seeking diverse perspectives. Instead of relying solely on your own experiences, actively engage with people from different racial backgrounds. Discuss differing viewpoints and listen empathetically. This process can be challenging because of potential discomfort or perceived disagreements. However, it's crucial to confront those feelings. Actively seeking out diverse voices is a crucial step. Another practical strategy involves advocating for policies that promote equity. Supporting organizations dedicated to racial justice and reform is a significant step. Consider volunteering or donating to such causes. Furthermore, recognizing personal biases is essential. Regular self-reflection and critical analysis of your own assumptions and beliefs are key. Use implicit bias training resources and seek feedback from others. Obstacles can include resistance to change or a feeling of powerlessness. Understanding the systemic nature of racial bias can combat this feeling by highlighting collective responsibility. By actively engaging in these strategies and acknowledging the complexities, you can take significant steps toward fostering a more equitable society. Consider the impact of implicit bias in jury selection. Research consistently reveals racial disparities in who is chosen as a juror. This demonstrates the pervasive nature of unconscious biases. Further, examine the disproportionate sentencing of minority defendants for similar crimes. Data analysis often reveals significant disparities, highlighting the systemic nature of the problem. These disparities necessitate deeper examination. Case studies of successful interventions in communities facing racial injustice offer crucial insights. Examples of community-led initiatives that address bias in policing or improve access to legal representation illuminate effective strategies. Experts in criminal justice reform often advocate for standardized training protocols for law enforcement. This includes bias awareness training, implicit bias workshops, and cultural sensitivity programs. Implementing these strategies is crucial. Furthermore, examining the role of media representation is critical. Understanding how media portrayals perpetuate stereotypes can lead to more nuanced perceptions and encourage greater empathy. By examining representation, we gain further insight. Ultimately, Addressing this complex issue requires a multifaceted approach that combines individual action with systemic change. Each step builds understanding and contributes to the larger goal of a more just society. Research consistently demonstrates racial disparities in sentencing, often influenced by implicit biases within the legal system. Studies have shown that defendants of color are disproportionately likely to receive harsher sentences for similar offenses. This finding highlights the systemic nature of the problem. Data on incarceration rates across racial groups reveals stark disparities. For instance, studies have consistently shown that Black individuals are incarcerated at rates higher than their representation in the general population. These statistics underscore the urgency of addressing these systemic biases. Expert opinions on implicit bias in policing underscore its pervasive impact. Research suggests that implicit biases can lead to differential treatment of individuals based on perceived race. These biases, often unconscious, significantly influence outcomes within the justice system. Consider the case of racial profiling. Studies show that racial minorities are disproportionately subject to traffic stops and searches without reasonable suspicion. This exemplifies how implicit bias can manifest in seemingly routine interactions. Furthermore, legal scholars have argued that the historical legacy of systemic racism continues to influence contemporary legal practices and outcomes. This underscores the importance of understanding the historical context. Understanding these realities, supported by research and data, empowers individuals to actively combat systemic racism. This includes becoming more aware of one's own biases and supporting initiatives to reform discriminatory practices. A common question is, how can one person make a difference? Well, experts say that even small acts of awareness and challenging biases can create a ripple effect. Imagine if everyone questioned their own assumptions a little more often. That adds up. Another concern often arises about the practicality of reform. It's true systemic change takes time, but small steps matter. Think about how many small actions, when combined, can lead to a larger movement. One person speaking up can influence others. Some might doubt their ability to understand the complexities of racial bias. But here's the key. Continuous learning and seeking diverse perspectives are crucial. Reading articles, watching documentaries, and talking with people from different backgrounds helps. Even if you feel overwhelmed, remember that understanding is the first step. Recognizing the problem is the beginning of the solution. You're not alone in this. Many are working towards a better future. Consider this. Disproportionate sentencing rates often reflect implicit bias. Understanding this helps us to see the systemic nature of the problem and to see that each person plays a role in finding solutions. Focus on taking manageable steps and supporting organizations working for reform. Every contribution, no matter how small, makes a difference. We've explored the intricate link between the justice system and racial bias, acknowledging its historical roots and present-day consequences. The key takeaway is this. Understanding implicit bias is the first step toward dismantling systemic inequities. Recognizing the pervasive impact of historical injustices and the persistence of systemic racism is crucial for personal growth. Take the time to learn about the historical context and how it affects legal systems today. Actionable steps include actively seeking out diverse perspectives, challenging your own assumptions, and supporting organizations fighting for racial justice. Read books, listen to podcasts, and engage in thoughtful conversations with people from different backgrounds. By cultivating empathy and challenging your own biases, you'll contribute to a more just and equitable society. Start by taking one small step today. Share this knowledge with others, and let's create a more inclusive and fair world together. Remember, continuous learning and action are essential. The journey toward equity requires ongoing dedication and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Let's move forward together. Reflect on the journey we've taken, examining the complex interplay of history, societal structures, and individual biases within the justice system. We've seen how these factors intertwine to create lasting inequalities. Recognizing the interconnectedness of these issues is a powerful first step. By acknowledging the weight of history and the persistence of systemic racism, we can begin to dismantle the very structures that perpetuate these inequalities. Embrace the opportunity to continue exploring these critical topics. Seek out diverse voices, challenge your own assumptions, and support organizations dedicated to creating a more equitable future. Each of us has a role to play. Let this journey serve as a catalyst for profound self-reflection and a commitment to social justice. The work is ongoing, but with each informed step, we move closer to a more just and equitable world. Remember, true personal growth extends beyond self-improvement. It encompasses a commitment to social justice. Carry this understanding forward, and let your actions reflect the values of fairness and equity.